we recently launched a new checklist feature that is basically a reverse of our existing doc name matching feature. This new feature will allow you to easily find and highlight a document that matches a required task. So as you're probably aware, when you click on a document in your document section, Pipeline will highlight any task in the checklist that contains that document name. So if I come on over to my document section, if I click on one of my documents, the system is going to search for that document name within my checklist and highlight that task so that I can easily and quickly find it and even mark it off my checklist if that's what I'm looking to do. If your checklist is really long, that makes it easy to find and mark off the task associated with that document, so you don't have to take any extra time searching for it, right? Okay, so that's how the existing doc name matching feature works. So with our new feature, the system will essentially allow that highlight feature to work in the reverse, right? So if I hover over a task, the system's going to highlight the matching document associated with the task, right? So if I come on over here, I can see my agent has indicated that they've turned in this document, so I can hover over that, hover over any of those documents, and the system's going to match up and highlight the matching document so that I can quickly access that and review it, right? So why is that helpful? Well, if I'm the broker or an admin coming in to do my final review of the transaction, when I look at my checklist to see what has and has not been done, I will be able to easily find the associated document, right? So since I've indicated that the seller's disclosure notice has been turned in, I can hover over that and quickly see the associated document, okay, with my documents on the right. This is especially helpful when you have variations of the same document. So for example, when I come over here, I click on my fully executed contract, I can see the contract that's the final version, whereas if I look right below it, I can see that there was a prior version of that, but the system is only going to highlight the final version for me, okay? So now you can proactively name your final docs to match the task items so that whenever you are working on hovering over those documents, you're able to see and highlight the appropriate document, okay? So that's the how on the feature works. Let's talk about the setup. So the great thing with this feature is if you're already using the standardized document names to match your checklist tasks, then this feature is automatically going to be working for you. No additional setup needed, okay? But if you do need to set up standardized document names, let me show you what I think is the quickest way to do that using your checklist templates, okay? So I'm going to click on my name here in the upper right and go to admin settings. Keep in mind that only master admins can set up standardized document names. So if I click on the document names page here, that's something only a master admin can set up. So if you're not seeing it, that means you're not a master admin, okay? But to handle the setup of this, I'm actually going to start on my checklist page, right? So I have my different checklists that are defined, including my checklist that may list out my compliance documents or my required documents. So I have one here for my pending required documents. So all the documents that I require once we go under contract. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to click this gear icon here and select the option to download my template. And I actually already downloaded that. So I have that open here. And it gives me a list of all of the documents that are listed on that checklist. It even gives me all the rules that I've set up for that. So it's kind of nice to see that in a spreadsheet form. But what I love about it is it gives me a list of those required documents. I can select and copy that list. And now I can take it on over to my document names page. And I'm going to select the option to bulk add the doc names. And all I have to do is paste that list in. So if I've copied it already, I can just Control V to paste that in. And so it nicely created a list. Select preview the document names. It shows me all the list of documents that are going to be imported. And then I'll just go ahead and add those document names. And now all those documents have been added to my existing standardized document names. Okay, so super easy. No need to type anything out. Just go ahead and grab that from your list. One thing that I do like to point out is if you have your list of documents and perhaps you have a couple of items that are if applicable. So so on your checklist, you might have had something like if applicable here. So when you come to copy that list, I would kind of recommend that you just go ahead and delete those instances of that. This way, your list of document names is purely the true document name without that extra unnecessary text. Okay, so as you can see, super easy to add those document names, which means it's super easy to start using the feature. One last tip that I will mention when it comes to using this feature, and I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, and that's when we're talking about different variations of the same document. So let's say that your agent uploaded the fully executed contract. You go to review that contract and you notice, hey, it's missing a signature. So as usual, you guys are probably already using the dot comment to notate that, missing signature on page 1. While you're doing that, adding that comment there, what I might also recommend is that you click on the gear icon to edit the document name and change the name to something a little different so that it's not an exact match to the task name. So as you can see here, I put missing signature. So if I do want to keep a record of that outdated version for my records, when my agent comes to correct the problem and upload the fully signed version of the document, they're going to be able to name it fully executed contract. As you know, Pipeline doesn't allow you to name 2 documents with the same name. And I want to make sure that your final version is the standardized document name as it's listed in your checklist, right? So as long as you rename that outdated document first, when the agent comes to correct the problem and upload the fully executed version, they're not going to have a problem with that name being taken. Okay. So then again, when I come here to look at my fully executed contract to see which contract is associated with that, it'll properly highlight my final version. Okay. So as you can see, pretty easy to use feature, but I think it's going to be super valuable, especially for those brokers who don't spend a lot of time in Pipeline. They only come in when it's time to do the final review, and they kind of just want to easily eyeball and find which one is the document they should be taking a look at so that they can mark it as reviewed, right? So makes that process super easy for the broker or the admin. Okay. So that's pretty much it. Hope that was super helpful for you guys.